Welcome to the WorkHARDAholic Show with your host, the original WorkHARDAholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Thank you all very much for being part of our WorkHARDAholics show, where we work hard, play harder, and business better. And so I know we only have a limited amount of time to talk to you all, but if you could take a moment, just give us your name and what you do exactly, because you all even know the beauty of the event that we have attended today.
My name is Charles H. DeBow III. I'm the President and CEO of the National Black Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Dr. Ken Harris, the President and CEO of the National Business League.
Okay, so the event that we just attended here at the National Press Club in DC, this was so much more exciting than even what I knew to expect. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally came based off of the reputation that I know of each organization. Yeah. But to now know that there was an announcement today that we now have the National Alliance
for Black Business.
I feel like that's a pause all by itself. So what exactly does this alliance look like?
We're about to collectively, organic, create the image. We can tell you exactly what the ingredients are and how it's coming together. And it is steeped in history. And it is based on science, it is based on academic study, but is mostly all in the interpretations and statements and principles introduced by Booker T. Washington as coming forth out of the Tuskegee Institute, the university and the academic environment that he created. The National Business League, which is over
122 years.
22 years. 122 years. They are the original Black or business organization. They're older than the U.S. Chamber.
12 years.
And when our founders were looking for what history is around chambers of commerce and what, so they went and they kept digging and digging and digging, and lo and behold, what was at the end of the rainbow was Booker T. Washington and the National Business League. So our organization is founded upon similar principles, and we've evolved from it. But we've also found too that we're not exactly the same, and that we don't have to be good at everything because you really can't. But if we collaborate, we can be good at a whole lot of things. Not good, but great.
And that power in numbers.
No question.
And so, tell us here.
Oh, no, I mean, the Alliance, quite frankly, we're not reinventing the wheel. Our story did not start with slavery. I'm sorry, say that one more time. Our story did not start with slavery. And we are now re-engaging our indigenous original roots in founding of civilizations and economies and entrepreneurship at the beginning of time. And so here we are today representing our ancestors, representing Booker T. Washington, but also with a forward vision of collectivism, collaboration, and cohesiveness around an aligned agenda so that we can effectively advocate for the masses. Those who have been disconnected, isolated, and marginalized in the community now have an organization that they can come to, and we move forward as a united force. So that although we have our independent histories and legacies, when it comes to Black business, we will produce data, research, and information to move the needle.
And that's something that you said today about data, right? So we're not just, we come from a culture of telling the story, but now to be able to say, when you're having that conversation with corporate America, to have the data. And before we get into the scorecard, I still want to, I want to talk about this alliance as a whole, right? Because both of you have very strong organizations, and there are chambers all throughout the country.
All throughout the
and
world.
I know that you all have, and you all have leagues that are set up in various locations.
Absolutely.
Is this a true collaboration? Or is it a matter of partnership where this is the area you cover, this is what we cover? Or is this really bringing together these two organizations as one?
I'm going to say that surprisingly enough, is quite seamless. Because it was started on the same track, the same principles. And we've been working off and on and together for 20 years or more. And we never ever really had a conflict because there are areas Ken is the best, without a doubt.
And vice versa.
and because of that, I'd rather call him up and say, Ken, what about this? Or say, man, you got a guy that does this and we need somebody for that. But in the meantime, we have really been humbly flattered by the reaction because we're so much in it. We can't see ourselves. And people are so welcoming and supportive of two Black organizations working together.
We're waiting for it.
I didn't realize it was.
We are waiting.
I had no idea how of a void, how much of a void there had been in that, because maybe we didn't really realize, but we think we've been working together for a long time. You know, but maybe we just now it's not maybe, we're coming out and letting everybody know.
And I think in part it's because you've each had your own mission. And so now it's this realization that you were a very powerful thumb on my left hand, a very powerful thumb on my right hand.
There you go.
But now, I mean, that mighty fist coming out, really ready to duke it out and make some accomplishments. One of the things that I thought was beautiful about today was really, I mean, I had some at my table from Cameroon, and we were talking about Costa Rica, and it's like, I had a long conversation with a brother from Nigeria. And so when we're talking about living in this crab in a barrel mentality, like I'm fighting over a little deal in Richmond, Virginia, we can be global, we can be international, we can really have an impact. How does the Alliance help to make that happen for Black and brown business owners?
One is bringing us together, mobilizing ourselves around a specific agenda. We're not trying to be the apple cart for everything and everybody. You have political organizations, you have civic, social organizations, you have educational organizations, but now in commonality, we have Black business organizations leading the Black business agenda, which is critical. This is what we do. And just like Charles mentioned, there's a science to entrepreneurial success. There's a process to entrepreneurial success, but we are stronger together. The more unified we are in our objectives, the more we are able to accomplish together. And when we get to the table, we're able to move the needle, supported by the data, information, and knowledge that the technology age gets us instantly, as opposed to us having to go through old traditional ways that we are building upon. So we are the modernization of Kemet, of ancient Africa. We are the modernization of our ancestors during the Reconstruction period, Booker T. Washington, the Renaissance movement, the great freedom warriors who fought us through civil rights and the Black Power movement. We are the modernization of Black economics and entrepreneurship, and it's about unity through the Alliance, and that's where we're moving towards in terms of our trajectory as a unified vision for everybody to be a part of. No matter if you're a big business or a small business, or you're a home-based sole proprietor, doesn't matter. We want everybody to come together now so that we can move forward with economics as the center thought of our whole operation.
One of the things that I am sincerely wondering about right now, it was very powerful. Like I felt the unity. I'm like, okay, we're gonna make it through. I can watch the replay and get excited. But for now, I want to make sure we're sharing all the right information.
Yeah.
And so, because here's the thing, that one of the greatest enemies that has been to our community is division. Right?
It is a tool.
Absolutely.
That was written up in
the playbook, the original.
What's the slave paper guy?
Willie Lynch.
Willie Lynch.
Yeah.
Come on, it's a playbook, and unfortunately, you can recycle that playbook over and over and over again. And that's part of what happened is that Ken and I, we're real free range kind of people, and really kind of, you don't get our attention unless you try to restrict us. And as we've been going down this path for 20 years, it's almost like they're kind of narrowing the road.
That's right.
If you stay on the road, or if you drink the Kool-Aid, if you buy in to the message that is being fed you, in some cases being given to you.
That's right.
And delivered to you. And we're like, that's a little bit too easy for us.
Yeah.
That's no fun. You know?
But there's this constant messaging that says, if there's room at the table, there's only room for one.
Yeah.
If who's setting the table?
That's right.
Whose club is it? Why do we even care? What happens if we just go and create our own game, bring our own ball?
With all those black dollars that we have and that we're utilizing not for our own community? But that also takes me to a totally different question. Because here it is when we talk about, and it was mentioned earlier in the presentation, we're talking about the economics of the black dollar.
No question.
And so here it is that we have a black barber, a black lawyer. We have every resource that you need. There's some African American in particular that can do it. But yet and still, we still have this stamp of saying, there's no need for that. How are you all, or is this a part of your mission to share the message that the resource that, I heard someone say, the resource that you need is right there in front of you.
Yeah.
How are we able to share that?
You're going to get us a tee off on it.
Yeah, she does have. She has a personality to get us to jump in as well. But it's an excellent question. I think in terms of our job is not to be the CEO of your business.
Life can be a struggle. Find hope, healing, and answers at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place to encounter God through uplifting worship, singing, prayer, the preach word, and fellowship. One step can change your life. One step could shift your destiny. There has never been a better time to take that step than now. Come be our guest every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place where you belong.
Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family.
Hey there, I'm inviting you to an end-of-summer Virginia Beach retreat from October 14th through 16th. This is exactly what WorkHARDAholics need this time of year. Time to think, get quiet, no distractions. Just sit on your oceanfront balcony and dream. Release the weight of defeating thoughts and habits and imagine new and elevated actions. Experience group gatherings, one-on-one coaching, personal time, and an alignment ceremony. Learn more at redirix.com. Click events.
Imagine Media Lab, a multimedia and podcast rental studio in partnership with the Women's Business Center, RVA, offers audio and video production services. Record that podcast you've always wanted to start. Create marketing and advertisement content such as voiceovers. Become a member and save on podcasting and production packages. All equipment and software is included in your rental. Located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today.
Our job is to provide the ecosystem and the access so that you can move your business forward. And within that perspective, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. This has been done before. We're just putting armor on the old tires, and we're coming together and we're aligning towards a specific agenda. So one, we know that other entities, institutions, and structures, they tell our story for us and they produce our data for us, and then they feed us what they come up with. We felt it was important to come together so that we could start to produce our own research and data and tell our own story to our community so that they can empower themselves and be connected to the original information, the true information of where we need to go. And then our ultimate goal is to provide business solutions for business problems. We know that access to capital is an issue.
Very much so.
The only way to play in the political space as a nonpartisan, non-sectarian, independent group is to come together and work with both sides of the aisle that will allow for us to move hopeful policy that will benefit the community. No longer are we accepting handshakes, platitudes, and looking at press conferences
in front of the camera.
But we know that real change has to be in the policy. It has to be instituted. And so together we have a stronger voice. And then on top of it, this is just our time. The future is Black, whether you recognize it or not. When we get in the room, the mentality of having just a fraction of the action or just a piece of the pie no longer exists. We want the whole pie, and we baking it, we producing the ingredients, we shipping it out, and we promoting it all through social media. So it's a new day. And if you ask children today, children of either your own or in the community, you say, what would you like to be when you grow up? 99% of them say, I want to own my own business. And even if they work for someone else, they still say, I need to have an entrepreneurial mindset in everything that I do. So if we're following where the future is going, our children want to own their businesses like their ancestors. And at the same time, if we're following where the future is going, then we know the digital economy has no borders, has no limitations. And that's what I love about Charles. Charles' long-term experience engaging the diasporic aspects of entrepreneurship. The rest of the world is waiting on Black American businesses to connect with them. So it's our time. It's now a global economy. We can no longer be isolated and marginalized in a small space. And now we're sharing information. So as the agenda comes to Charles and the agenda comes to me, trying to divide and trying to conquer, they can no longer do that no more. We on one accord. And our job is to get the community on one accord when it comes to Black business.
I know we're very excited here. I'm curious to know, because I'm looking at by the generations.
Yeah.
Right. Especially when you're talking about the newer generations who want to be entrepreneurs. Yeah. A lot of them they don't know who to trust and where to belong and how to be a part of anything. And I wondered, especially as I looked at your background, especially in the music industry, that's a marketing beast if I've ever seen one. Are there any tools from that era of your life that you're now putting into place, especially to potentially reach younger generations?
Absolutely. Every single ounce of life's experience is in play on every level. I went to college, I went to business school, but I got that bug to be in the entertainment industry. My parents were not excited about it because it was representative of people that really weren't educated. And it wasn't, you didn't go to college to go in the music business. And they purposely tried to keep you from knowing certain things about business. And you ever hear that term about follow the money? And you could see it in the movie about New Edition and some of these other artists. And now we're all this controversy about, did they own their publishing? Did they not own their publishing? What's a 360 deal? We have something coming along on the lines for that. But to answer your question, we very much are looking at consumability for consumer products and how the distribution, manufacturing, ship, billing, and collecting. Those are all basic things that a lot of guys did learn because they didn't go for the company deal. They went and figured out, well, how much does it cost if I could make one of these things? So Master P, that's a great example of that. But really, Barry Gordy, he was his own distribution. They know how to make a record, how much it costs, and where you go to a pressing plant and create the product. So they were from the ground up into it, not so much going and I almost caught myself there. I almost said master, going to master and saying,
it is what it is.
Can you, and another example that really is very relative today was Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry was
Very
sleeping in his car and bulletproofing his plays or running them before people and tweaking and perfecting. And no, he was not invited to Hollywood.
No, he wasn't.
Made it up.
He was rejected by
He
Hollywood.
was rejected by Hollywood. It's like people worried about, am I nominated for an Oscar? Or how many Oscars have we won?
Yeah.
Why do you expect somebody else to give you love or to share for you when it's their house? It's no different than it's your house. It's your business. You're running it and you did it for your family, for your culture, for your people. So why are you going to suddenly be judged upon how much inclusive you are or are not?
And let that be your gold standard. Like, why?
That's right. So all that is to say, we can make a lot of money without it. I work for an artist called Prince. Prince
I'm sorry, I don't think we've ever heard of him.
What was
that?
Prince put
I thought
this
he was
thing
about
out
to
there.
say somebody. No, he said
The artist
Prince.
formerly known as what?
The artist.
Yeah. And I was during the time I was with him. He was going through his economic evolution, his involvement.
Yes, he was.
And he was telling us how I think he had I think he called it the Black Record, and a couple other artists later came with their Black Record. But what he did was he manufactured it himself. He put it out himself. He sold it off the internet. And he said, the standards in the record industry, you have to sell 1 million units to achieve a certain economic gross sales level. Because you could sell 1 million units, but if your royalty is $1.45 on a $16 CD or whatever the thing may be, Prince said, you know what? I can go platinum on 50,000 units. I don't have to sell 1 million. So I don't even care.
We have learned a lesson from the artist, and that is real entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's no question.
At the heart and core of it.
No one's telling that story either.
Indeed, and this is what's happening. And this is part of the reason why we're really excited to be here to even have this conversation, because you all are providing a platform, data, information,
No
the
question.
scorecard that I'm hoping we'll get a chance to mention.
Absolutely.
And then you're also preparing for, you were dropping some hints about some big things that are about to occur. And I know before you said, well, we can't say this is our track record because this is what we're kicking off from. But can you share with us some of that recipe for success that we're talking about with regard to the scorecard, the national meeting that we're all going to be gearing together to come for sometime soon in the future? Can you let us know about those things we should be looking for? And how can we, I'm a small business owner. Been one for over 20 some odd years. How can we engage? How can we participate? How do we become a member? I asked a lot of questions on there, and hopefully you got them all.
That's a lot of questions. Yeah, it's okay.
We can always regurgitate. It's not a problem.
No, I just believe, one, the prominence of the National Black Chamber of Commerce and all of the Black chambers throughout the country and internationally is an excellent opportunity for Black businesses to connect with resources in an existing ecosystem. Same thing with the National Business League and our local league chapters throughout all 50 states and internationally. So now you have options, right? The day and age of trying to just belong to one particular group or saying that one thing is going to do all for you, that's just not the case. There are a ton of resources out here. Collectively, now we get to pool those resources. You have options instead of being limited to a particular ideology or perspective or institution, right? We only had one or two institutions back in the day. Now you have multiple. And to fight the beast that exists, where there is supreme exclusion, barriers to entry consistently in the marketplace, and the lack of access to capital, the lack of training of workforce and education that's necessary for us to build capacity, scope, and scale, we have to work together. It's essential that we work together. And what comes out of that is just what you saw in the room today.
Which was amazing.
Local communities, national communities, global communities, politics, the public and private sector, and every aspect of the community came together to support us aligning and working together. And that's what this is really all about. The digital scorecard just really tells a true story. It's to say that we're past the acknowledgement of someone else's projection of numbers that may not be real. We know that when you mention unemployment and you give a national unemployment score, well, that don't necessarily tell us the unemployment rate of the Black community. And then we get caught in these ambiguous terms like minority, people of color, humpbacks and whales. Everything is a part of diversity now. So our goal is to go into that domain and say, well, we understand it's important to have minority inclusion, people of color inclusion, and even white women inclusion, or white veterans, or white LGBTQ. But where is Black business? To ask the direct question, what is your spend? What is your commitment? What is Black business participation? And what does your executive leadership look like? Do they look like me? So when you're talking about inclusion, we have to come together to say, no, this is the real story. And sorry, the truth hurts at times, but we're also here to help you where you need growth opportunity and where you need to move forward in the right direction. We can provide those resources and tools. So that's what the Black Business Equity and Inclusion Scorecard will do. It will bring to light the truth so that we can truly move the needle in the Black community.
I love it. I know we've already been together a little longer than we were allotted, but we are so grateful that you all gave this time. Is there anything, well, I still have to ask this one question. If someone wants to become a member of the Alliance.
Stay tuned for February.
Okay, well, there we go. That'll get you started. And we'll keep you posted with everything that we can possibly hear. We'll keep our ear to the ground to give you all the message and information that you need. Is there anything that you all would share with us before we depart?
We're just going to say thank you. We're going to follow your programming. We're going to include you in all our news releases. We'd love to learn about your advertising vehicles, how we can promote some of the members in the community that you serve and your audience. And we welcome you as an entrepreneur in entertainment.
Why, thank you very much. That was very exciting. I don't know if you all felt that. I felt that. I feel very excited. Any parting words that you want to share?
Thank goodness for Black women entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we will celebrate that. I don't know if I mentioned that too. I run the Women's Business Center, RVA. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Now we know.
It's all in there.
Richmond?
I am.
Oh,
we got to get your card. We got some things coming up, Roanoke and down in the area.
We will happily celebrate and be present and accounted for.
All right.
With our very loud voices, ready to represent. So as we always say, work hard, play harder, business better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.
Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. 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 Thanks for tuning in to WorkHARDaholics. Support our show by following on YouTube and all major social media platforms at WorkHARDaholic. Until next week, happy entrepreneuring.